Pokemon patent rejected. Big Palworld W. This is what I like to see. This is what I've been waiting on, man. I've been waiting on that update from Old Legal Mindset on the latest with this lawsuit. I've been paying very close attention. Um, Actually, for curiosity's sake, I kind of want to hold on a minute. Your boy's been putting in a lot of time in Old Palworld lately. So let's do a quick check. See, I'm currently at 109 hours on PC for Palworld. For full context, I'm think I'm at like 300 total hours, but most of those hours are on whatchamacallit, on Xbox, because Xbox is the original console that I played Palworld on. But yeah, I'm almost maxed out, man. I'm almost there.
Pokémon has had their patent rejected by the Japanese Patent Office. This is a giant win for Palworld and a huge step in their lawsuit between Nintendo, Pokemon Company, and Palworld, and their attempt to dominate Pokemon and Nintendo, their attempt to dominate the Pocket Monster genre. Of course, we're going to talk about that in the Legal Mindset. We teach you be your own judge. I'm Andrew Esquire. This is a fast facts version, the quick and dirty version of the latest in legal news. If you like this format, make sure you like the video and leave a comment below. So let's get right into it. Let's get my PP.
You heard the man.
The Pokemon patent rejected. So let's talk about this. As background, obviously.
All right.
Nintendo and the Pokemon Company International are engaged in a vicious lawfare campaign against Palworld to corner the entire Pocket Monster genre. So they're trying to go after this entire genre, and they're trying to lock this down entirely. The lawsuit is for patent infringement, not copyrights. That's an important distinction. Oftentimes people go back to the character designs and go back to, okay, this.
Yeah, that was a very popular push by some of the people, like some of the big Nintendo heads that are Pokemon defenders. That was one of their main things was oh, well, they're just copying all their fucking designs. Well, then if you want to play that game, then let's look at Pokemon's designs, and then let's look at fucking Dragon Quest, where Pokemon ripped their fucking designs from Dragon Quest's monsters, right? Do we really want to go down that route? I'm down. Listen. I am down to let Pokemon get absolutely railed in court for copyright infringement on Dragon Quest character designs. 100%. I'm so down, right? Now, is that ever going to happen? No, because it's not that big a fucking deal, right? Obviously. Now, I think, this is my theory, right? If you look at the latest Pokemon game and how bad it is, I think that Game Freak is under contractual obligation to make Pokemon games, right? I don't know how long this is for, but this is my assumption, right? I am assuming this. I'm assuming that this is a deal put in place because if you look at the past few Pokemon games, Game Freak has done the absolute bare minimum as far as getting the game to function and getting the game to be, I don't know what you would be in a playable state, right? It's kind of the same thing, but the point I'm trying to make, right, is the quality of the games has gone down, right? I think that what used to be a passion project for Game Freak is no longer a passion project. I think it has fallen off for them. I think they want to go into making different games, and this contract that they're under, hypothetical contract that they're under, is, I think this is the reason that the games are going downhill, because they're doing it to simply fulfill a contract while they work on other games. Like they're working on another game right now, and I watched the trailer for it when I was talking about this before, and it looks insanely good. It looks so good. And you can't even believe it's the same studio. Like they released Pokemon and a trailer for this fucking game that they're gonna make. And I think they are trying to separate themselves from the Pokemon name. I think they've been um I think yeah, I really do think that they're just kind of sick and tired of it. They want to be known for something that isn't just a fucking Pikachu, right? And I don't blame them. They put in a good run. But with all things, time changes, and I think they're looking to expand their portfolio. I think they want to move on to different types of games and different styles, and try to get into some different markets. And that's why I think that they're putting in the bare minimum effort to fulfill contractual obligation to the Pokemon company. And once that contract is up, Game Freak is gonna go off. They're going to drop banger games, I think, because it's actually gonna be something that the devs at Game Freak want to work on.
This character looks like this
That's
one.
my
Well,
theory.
that's not
That's my theory.
actually what this is for. What this is for is for patent infringement, which is
Right.
for the actual mechanics that underlie the systems. So saying, hey, this system is similar, that's the problem, not necessarily the design or the art.
Right.
Now, of course, some of the art does play into certain elements, and we'll get into that. But the case is currently in the Tokyo District Court. This is a Japanese case, although there are related U.S. patents, and obviously what happens in the U.S. is related to that. But the patents generally in Japan are reviewed by the Japanese Patent Office, the JPO. So I'm going to be using that term, JPO. So the JPO recently, just now, rejected one of the Pokemon patents, we'll talk about that, as lacking an inventive step, essentially saying, hey, this is not doing anything new. This is doing something.
Yeah, it's too broad. It's not specific. Um, and I think that this was a very necessary move. And I really think that I really think that when you are looking to push a patent in the office, right? In a patent office, I think there should be an initial either accepting, Jesus Christ, I can't speak. An initial acceptance or rejection of that patent. Just give you like right away, just give you an answer, say, okay, this looks good. Okay, this looks like shit. Redo it, come back to us, right? And then I think the patent office should then do an audit of all the other patents under that company, right? And review them. I think this is what should happen to every company every time they look to make a new patent, trademark, whatever the fuck, right? I think that they should do that every time, every single time. That way you can make triply sure that there is nothing that is of broad scope that looks to monopolize a market in one specific brand's favor. And even to the point to where there's no like gatekeeping of competition, right? Because that's a big thing, right? If you're positioning yourself in a way of which you can be the only one in your market, or you can have others in the market, but because of certain things, you keep them at a lower tier than you consistently, that's a problem. That is a problem, right? And it's definitely taking advantage of the system. And I think I mean, this is not Japan specific, this is world specific. These offices need to be very aggressive with making sure these patents are going through a proper legal process.
That has been done before. And the patent office themselves cited older games such as Ark, Monster Hunter 4,
True,
Craftopia, Kantai
true,
Collection, shout
true.
out there, and Pokemon Go itself. Literally, Pokemon got owned by Pokemon Go.
Yeah, it's another company that makes the Pokemon Go mobile game, I think.
That's how bad it is. That's how bad it is here. And it suggests that Palworld isn't just copying Nintendo or Pokemon, but there's decades of established game mechanics
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
that are underlying what's going on here. So this complicates Pokemon's situation greatly, as another patent was derived from this denied patent. This is what I've called, what we've talked about in this channel as divisional patents. I talked about this previously in my coverage of Pokemon versus Palworld, and this is a legal strategy. So I know this looks complicated and there's a lot of kanji here, but what you got to pay attention to.
I fucking hate kanji, bro. Listen, a little bit about me. I studied Japanese for about a year before I was just like, this isn't for me. Mainly because like after doing some research, I found out that Japan has banned pit bulls. I didn't know Japan had a pit bull problem, but it's kind of crazy that they fucking banned them. And I find if your country has to ban a dog, that tells me more about your country than I need to know, right? That means your priorities aren't straight. You're looking the wrong direction when it comes to forcing responsibility and accountability on your people. And throwing that blame on innocent animals is an easy indicator that I will never be a citizen in your country. Never.
This is the one that was denied. So this patent was denied.
Oh yeah. Back to the point before I fucking completely went on a tangent there for a second. Kanji sucks. I fucking hate kanji. Why the fuck is that a thing? Right? Like, can't y'all fucking redo that and just make it more like katakana and hiragana? Like, come on, give me a break, bro.
Why is that important? This is important because there's another patent that was divided off of the one that's denied. So now this one that was divided off is under scrutiny, right? So this patent is
This is what I'm saying. Audit that shit, dude. The minute they apply to re fucking not re update, but um the minute they look to reestablish an already, you know, already approved patent is like the time that you need to start reviewing all the other patents to make sure that, okay, this one seems pretty broad. Are they up to some weird shit? Let's look at all these other ones here. Okay, yeah, nah, I don't like this one. The copywriting error, I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know if we could do that. We can't give you all the oxygen in Japan. It's not quite going to work.
been denied. This one's gone. So now this one definitely in trouble. And even this one, the parent patent, you got to go back and ask some questions. Wait a second. Is this completely legit? Because if this part of the patent is
Right.
illegit, then maybe
Yeah, if they're abusing it on this branch, then is the main trunk also rotting out? Like, do we need to reevaluate this entire scenario?
maybe a larger part of this is not
Yep.
legitimate as well. So there's a lot
Yep.
of questions this brings up as to the
Exactly.
legitimacy of the other patents, right?
This is what I want.
Silver bullet that takes out everything. No. Does it severely damage their legal strategy, and does it send Pokemon looking for excuses and looking for other things? Yes, absolutely, it does.
So if I'm Pokemon, I'm looking at this and I'm reevaluating my approach to getting what I want out of this, right? So if I need to get this patent to go through to sink Palworld into the ground, right? If I'm Pokemon right now, what I'm looking for is okay, we made this too broad, that's brought other things into question. I'm overall looking at the umbrella of patents that we as Pokemon look after, right? And I'm looking at these patents and I'm saying, okay, They had an issue with this. This is very similar to this, this, and this. I'm going to go into these three things and I'm going to make them hyper specific to achieve both my goal of getting the patent approved and reapproved, and also the patent um, that I am currently the new one, right? I am also going to make that one insanely specific to achieve my goal of uprooting Palworld, right? If my goal is to take out competition, how can I make this so specific that it is in my favor regardless of what they're trying to do with this, right? As far as argument's sake, on the Palworld side of it.
This is a pocket pair W without any holding it back at all.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing, and this is a very fun unknown factor, and perhaps we'll get confirmation one way or another at some point. But there was a mysterious third party. We do not know whether or not it was Palworld, right? Whether it was Pocket Pair. We don't know. It probably was, but we don't know. They filed examples with the JPO, the Japanese Patent Office, of prior artwork. And the Japanese Patent Office let everyone know that it was the filing of this prior art which led to the rejection of the patent. This is excellent. So this gives us a template for fighting Nintendo. So whenever Nintendo files these patents, well, people can go, third parties can go to the Japanese Patent Office and, give them proof. Say, hey, here's why you should not grant this patent, because they're just absolutely picking off the past. This is nothing new. And this definitely opens up the scrutiny of other Nintendo patents, not even just Pokemon, but just more broadly Nintendo. There's probably a lot of mechanics that they're trying to lock down in general, overall, that they really don't have any.
Yeah, so here's the big thing, right? Let me move myself so that you guys can see. I'll go up here. So, extensive list of games that use the same mechanics which Pokemon is trying to monopolize. Ark, Tomb Raider, Zelda, Titanfall 2, Rune Factory 5. Palworld also argued mods like Pixelmon and Nukamon are I'm not even going to try to pronounce that shit. Nintendo refuses to acknowledge mods are art. Now, Nintendo is not wrong in this argumentation because mods technically, um, none of the assets, right, that are used in these games are. Well, actually, hold on. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. I was about to go on a fucking weird. Okay, hold on. Nintendo refuses to acknowledge mods are art. I still don't understand. Okay, so this just threw me off on a whole different fucking line of thinking. This is a weird argument to make. Nintendo refuses to acknowledge mods are art, but I thought the argumentation wasn't the art, but it was the mechanics of which the art is presenting. Does that make sense? So, Arc has a capture system, right? Um, Pixelmon in Minecraft has a capture system, and that is what they're arguing is patented, right? That is their mechanic, right? Nobody can have that mechanic, right? I'm very confused. Like, it almost seems like when Nintendo pushed this mechanics argumentation, I don't know if they're trying to find some weird loophole through like art, through like a subjective means. It just weird. It's weird to me that it says Nintendo refuses to acknowledge mods as art, our art. Um, I'm trying to think of like in what sense, right? Because you can argue that Pixelmon isn't art technically, but at the same time, you can't because it is technically a new creation, but it's based off of an IP, right? Like Pokemon in Minecraft together, right? I think the thing that is like the most obvious about this, right? They can't go after Fallout 4 because it has a backing by Bethesda, which has a backing by Microsoft. You can't go after Minecraft because it's also a game that is huge and is also backed by Microsoft. um, Titanfall 2, I'm not sure about. Rune Factory, never played. Zelda, that's a bunch of Nintendo infighting. Nintendo would never allow that to happen. Arc, maybe Arc. I don't know much about Arc or their studio. Same thing with Tomb Raider. So I guess I'd be more focused on in a hypothetical in my head. I'd be focused on Pixelmon and Nukamon. Um, and actually, now that I think about it, I was playing Minecraft recently. I'm doing like a survival run with a couple of my friends, and there is an actual creature capture mod in Minecraft. Now it's not Pokemon. All these creatures are custom creatures made in the world of Minecraft, right? They don't have any sort of Pixelmon or Pokemon models or anything like that. It's not like Palworld, right? They're blocky, just like any other Minecraft character. Um, so in a way, going along the argumentation here by Nintendo, their whole argument falls apart because they should have issued a cease and desist to those people to not put out that mod if it is their mechanic. Now, granted, things change when you're getting into overseas politics and patents and all that shit. Because as far as I know, Pokemon tried to pursue this in an American patent office already, and the patent office here rejected them as well. I may be misremembering that, but for some reason, that does pop into my head that there was some sort of like patent office argument here in the US and it failed for Pokemon because the US laws are different from Japanese laws. And when you do a patent here in the US, it has to be very specific on what it is you're patenting. You cannot patent anything that is generalized, right?
Right to. And there's an extensive list of games that use the same mechanics which Pokemon is trying to monopolize. We had Ark, Tomb Raider, Zelda, Titanfall, Rune Factory 5, and those are ones that were cited by Palworld, that even Palworld brings up. But
Okay, so these ones are the ones that Palworld brought up.
Palworld also argued that mods are also a good reason why there's prior art.
Yeah, the mods is a weaker argument, but it is an argument.
That should be considered. And, that's something that I think is very, very important, especially since Nintendo refuses to acknowledge mods as art, right? So they're saying, hey, mods are not actually art. They're something that is that is really just derivative, and therefore we're not going to actually allow that. And if you're asking, am I updating my PowerPoint due to typos in mid recording? Yes, I am actually doing that. Okay,
Paste.
so there we go, got it back there. So yeah, Palworld's arguing that mods like Pixelmon in Minecraft, Nukamon, Fallout 4 prior art, and Nintendo refuses to confirm that mods are art. Of course, the court is not going to care whether or not they confirm that or deny that. Nintendo can.
Yeah, that's why the argumentation threw me off for a minute. I was like, "Wait a minute, what the why are they talking about art? That has nothing to do with anything." Because we're the argumentation is mechanics.
Say whatever they want to say. They're going to look at that, the court, and it's going to say this has been done before.
Yeah, this shit made my head hurt.
That's the lack of an inventive step. And that's where they got in trouble in the past. And that's where
I just went down a whole different tangent when that shit came up.
patents can also have issues. In a conclusion, Japanese judges are going to defer strongly to the finding of the patent examiners.
True.
So the patent examiners are really the ones that are the technical experts or the specialists. So that's not good for Pokemon. The judges are not going to strongly go against the JPO unless there's a strong reason why they should go against the JPO. Pokemon has already modified one of their patents during the middle of the lawsuit. That is extremely desperate. Imagine that. You're in the middle of a lawsuit, and the whole point of the lawsuit is the validity.
Which I do think that should be illegal. Absolutely illegal. You should not be allowed to just adjust things to work in your favor mid lawsuit. Now, pre or post lawsuit, or possibly even looking at a call it, like a temporary stop to like a temporary pause to the lawsuit to reevaluate a certain patent. I think you could possibly argue that, but I still think that should be completely illegal across the world. What the fuck kind of bullshit is that? I mean, come on. That's like and you me and you are racing in Forza, right? Right? We're doing a sprint race, point A, point B. And in the middle of the race, I say I add a new rule that you can only go 50% speed and I get to go 100% speed. The fuck? The fuck is that bullshit? Of course I'm going to win the race. I adjusted the rules to fit my benefit. It's such a cheat. It's a fucking scam.
Of the patents and patent infringement, but how is
I think that your patent should be established before or after a lawsuit. Never during should you be able to adjust a patent to fit whatever the fuck it is that you want to either get a one up on for another fucking whatever or avoid a loss on.
the judge supposed to decide what's been infringed upon if even you don't know what's being infringed upon?
Exactly.
Think about that. You're like, well, what is it that you're actually suing for? And you change the whole basis mid suit. It just doesn't make.
If I were the judge and Nintendo adjusted their patent mid lawsuit, I would throw the lawsuit out and then I would audit their company and I would look into every patent they have and I would scrutinize every single one. And if every single one came back as not conclusive enough and not specific enough, then I would, or it's somehow like a overall, like over blanketed thing. Um, then I would throw it out. I would absolutely fucking come down as a court of law, and I would just say, guess what, patent office, you need to throw this, this, and this, and this out because this is clear overreach. It's clear that they are trying to monopolize a certain genre to be a space of which only they can exist.
Make much sense. So that's what's going on here. Now, Pokemon is also, and this is the rumor, the scuttlebutt, and I know the Pokemon people will be crawling out of the woodwork to comment on this one, but Pokemon is likely preparing a survival style Palworld-ish spin-off, which is why they're trying to monopolize the genre because they're not creative, because they're not doing new stuff. What they want to do is knock off Palworld and have the right to do that because they've kicked Palworld out of the market. What they want.
I still think if Palworld wanted to pull the biggest gamer move, I think what they should do is start studying English and base your company in the US. Dead ass. And y'all might think that's crazy, but I think you throw in with Microsoft and you fucking base your shit in the US. Right? And you be very, very specific when coming up with a deal with Microsoft so that you maintain full creative control of Palworld, because I do think that if Microsoft gets involved with Palworld, they will fucking ruin it. 100%. Microsoft has done nothing but drop disappointing games for like the past fucking decade, dude. It's so bad. It's so bad. But I do think if you get the backing of a major, major, major company, then you essentially become untouchable. They could file 1,500 patents, and none of those patents would do anything because they would only apply in Japan. That's it. Full stop. Right? Because the amount of pushback that they would get if they tried to force a patent to be approved in the US would be astronomical. And I do think that Nintendo's on the decline. I really do. I think that they have a bunch of old people at Nintendo trying to run it like it's fucking 1997, and it is slowly going to wither away at people's trust and nostalgia of Nintendo. And once that veil fully disappears, they're cooked. They're cooked. Their main market now is kids and women. That's it. Kids and women. Even now, you can go look at fucking Twitch, go look at the fucking Pokemon ZA or whatever the fuck it is, and you could see that predominantly most of those people that are playing it are women. That's it, right? You got a few guys sprinkled in there, but for the most part, it's all chicks. He's the only ones playing that fucking game, and everybody else who's playing that game is 12. So
Want to do is be a cheap Power World knockoff, right? And try to take over that side of the market by kicking out Power World because Power World's already proved their concept.
it'll never work. It'll never work. Here's why. Because Pokemon will never put out a game that is as good as Palworld. Pokemon is not good at survival. Pokemon is not good at pushing adult themes. Pokemon has thrown in as a kid friendly company for so many years, they don't know how to be adult. I think that that game will be the worst investment Pokemon has ever made. It'll be the final nostalgia grab that ends Pokemon as a nostalgia franchise. I do. I really do. I think it's going to come out and people are just going to be like, why? Why did you even think this was a good idea? And they're going to go play Palworld because they could try to push Palworld out the market. I don't think it's going to happen, right? Because I do think that if you put Palworld on the back foot, I think either Sony or Microsoft, probably if Microsoft wasn't retarded, if they were fucking smart, they would swoop in and grab Pocket Pair. And they would put Palworld on an American platform where Japanese law has no regard on how they operate. Just saying. If I'm Microsoft, I'm pulling out the checkbook right now. I'm saying, how much you want? How much you want? How much you want? We're about to bring back Halo and shit. You know, we're gonna have eyes on us like crazy. You know, how much you want? Let's add you to the team. Because I think that's what Xbox is doing. I think they're moving to the publisher side of things, and they aren't getting into the game creation space anymore. I think acquiring Pocket Pair would be a baller fucking move because that solidifies budget for Pocket Pair to put out a sequel to Power World that isn't some shitty fucking weird dating sim shit. What the fuck? I saw that shit on Steam. I was like, what the hell is this? What a waste of resource when you're fighting Nintendo and the Pokemon company and you're out here putting out some weird cheap dating sim thing. I don't know if it's cheap. I never played the game, right? I just knew it came out and I was like, what the fuck is this?
proved that's a viable concept. So now they're trying to come into that market. I don't think that's smart. I still think that the best conclusion is still an amicable, a friendly settlement between Nintendo, between Pocket Pair and Pokemon Company International particularly. And I think that is all in the hands of Nintendo and the Pokemon Company. They're the ones that could decide to settle this, to end this, and that's the way it should go. But let me know what you guys think is going to happen in the comments below, and I will catch.
Yeah. A lot of people concluded when this all started that a settlement was going to be how it ended. Um, but my hope is that they lose more than they gain from this, right? I think Palworld. Yeah, I mean, keep in mind, Palworld is still in early access. It has not even officially released. Are you kidding me, bro? The game is phenomenally good. And it's still in early access, and it has a bigger player base than probably the past fucking 10 Pokemon games. So like, I don't know if that's a fact. I'm just fucking spitting that one off the dome, but probably not. You know, let's look at Steam. How many people got on all Pal World? Pal World. Pal World. Let's look at charts. All right, max 2.1 million people on Steam. 50 at a 24-hour peak, 27, well, technically 28 on right now. Right now. That's insane. Insane. And this is just PC. This is not Xbox, it's not Sony, right? It's not PlayStation. They're fucking killing it. Absolutely killing it. And they are continuing to put up so much effort. I've been with the game since